Today on Let's Figure This Life Out Together, what I'm doing is to answer some of your questions.
We're just everyday people trying to make a difference. We want to know we got it right. We gotta know our purpose, gotta know it's worth it. We want to live a good life.
Hey there, beautiful people, welcome back here. I am so excited to be back here. For anyone that is new here, welcome to this beautiful community. Please make sure to subscribe and to click on the notification bell if you like what you find here. And for the rest of the people that have been a part of this community for not a very long time, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you. Oh, I liked the comments from the last video. They were really detailed. I loved reading them. I loved learning from you guys. I loved reading your feedback. That was so beautiful. Let's keep that up. So I asked you guys if you have any questions about self-love. So far I realized I was talking too much and I needed to hear from you guys. I needed to hear where you're at. I needed to know what are some of the questions that you have, and I wanted to really address some of those things that you wanted me to address. So here we are and we're doing it today. Let's dive right into it. The first question is, don't you think that not loving something about oneself is motivation to create a change? Yes, I agree, absolutely. If the things about yourself, like your habits that you feel like you want to change, that you don't really love or you don't appreciate about yourself, know that it's the habits that you do not like, or it's the habits that you hate, but you do not impose that hate on yourself, right? What you're doing because you love yourself, you work towards improving that and learning new things and maybe getting, changing those habits and adopting new habits and being a better person in general. So we have to know how to separate who you are and maybe aspects or habits about yourself that you don't like, right? And knowing that regardless of what is going on, you love yourself, and it's the love for yourself that drives you to work on yourself. Very beautiful question. Thank you for asking that. And then someone else asked, is knowing oneself possible really? So here's the thing. I believe that you can know yourself and that is why we need to invest in self-awareness, right? That is where the self-awareness work comes in. Getting to know yourself, getting to know your mind, getting to know your thoughts, getting to know your likes, getting to know your dislikes, getting to know your passion, getting to know your strength, knowing your weaknesses. That is all getting to know yourself, right? But I also talked about change in my first episode of self-love, the self-love series, and I talked about change, right? So knowing yourself doesn't mean that you are going to be static. It means that in this season I can know who I am, I can know what I think, I can know what ideas I have, but knowing that it's not constant, that you change, that when you are in a new environment you learn new things and you get new ideas. As you grow older, there are things that you outgrow, or as you invest in self-improvement, there are things that you outgrow and you just change. So knowing that, keeping that at the back of your mind is also important, but I do 100% agree that you can know yourself. And then the other question is, what motivated you to start your self-love journey? What actually motivated me is that when I started college, when I came, I realized that, or for those of you who do not know, I am doing my undergrad in the US. So I had to move from home and come to a whole new country, whole new area, whole new space. And having, my gap year was a very busy gap year. And then getting here, life slowed down a little bit. And then I got to a place where I realized I was going to class and that's it. So when you have that much time, you have so much time to think about yourself. I realized that I do not know myself. To a point that I didn't know what I like and what I did not like. Simple things like knowing my favorite color, I did not know. I had to start from scratch. So that is kind of what motivated me. And then just listening to podcasts. One of the podcasts that, oh my God, that I'm really thankful that I came across one of them it's called Super Soul Sunday by Oprah Winfrey. That was amazing for me to listen to. I listened to how aware she was of herself, and I was like, oh my God, do people do that? Like, do people get there? And then because of that, I started to do that work. And then with time, like through self-awareness and just wanting to read and to learn more about that and investing time in that, I got to a place where I realized that, okay, with self-awareness, I need to also invest in self-love. And long story short, that is how I got motivated, and that's how my journey started. How can I overcome negative self-talk? I am still learning how to actually get over that, but I would just share something with you that my therapist shared with me when I was addressing this. She said that when you're having the negative self-talk, ask yourself if there's proof to your thoughts. Like, are they really true? Like, get time to question those thoughts. Where are they coming from? How true are they? By the way, sometimes they're false because of things we have heard, that we have been told, that our brain kept, right? For example, if someone told you you're not smart enough, or if someone told you you're not good enough, or if you're not good at this, or you're rejected, like those things are some of those things that pile up and create the negative self-talk. But on the other hand, sometimes, and that is why it's very important to kind of question and to check where those thoughts are coming from. Sometimes those thoughts are real, like true. For example, if I'm given a position and I need to take on a certain role, the first thing that comes in my head is I'm not qualified to do that, right? Sometimes it's been true and sometimes it's not been true. I had to question why I feel like I'm not qualified. Are there skills that I probably need to invest in? Are there things that I need to learn, or are there is there something I need to do that I'm not doing that is making me feel unqualified, right? If that is there, then I have to move towards working on that thing. And if it does not exist, that is when you start to question the reality of that. Where is it coming from? And then reminding yourself that this is not true. If it's not true for real, continuously telling yourself that they're not existent and it's not something for you to worry about. I'm a work in progress. I'm still working on that. It's a process, but I'm pretty sure that you actually get there. Really, you get there. So you have to have that faith that when you're doing that work, pray about it as well. Read the Word of God. Know what God says about you. Part of knowing yourself as a person is knowing God's idea of who you are and saying those words to yourself and allowing them to become a reality to you. Please talk about balancing self-care, busy schedules. I'm literally losing it. Yes. I struggle with this every semester. I do. Oh my God, I really do. Like when the semester starts, I'm very much on track. I have my morning routine. I am, very organized until the burnout kicks in and I'm just waking up, rushing, going to work, going to school, just running. And usually when I don't create that time, that is when I start to feel overwhelmed because I've not had enough time to prepare in the morning. Usually I'll just create time to pray and listen to podcasts and listen to worship and worship music and do some meditation. Those are some of the things that get me ready for the day. So one of the things that you can learn to do is, if you create time to go to work or go to school or do all these things that life is demanding you to do, please create time to make sure that you're ready for the day. Like, get time to fill your cup before you go out to the world. I feel like that is very helpful. It helps you get through the stressful days, you get through the hard days, because you started strong. And knowing your source of support, for me the biggest one is God. Just knowing that going into the day, God is with me. He is gonna be with me while I go out, and he's gonna be with me while I come back. Just telling myself that and believing it, and believing that he is with me in whatever thing I'm gonna do. That is one of the things that have helped. The other thing is, please create time to rest. Create that time. If you don't create it, your body is going to create it for you, because it's going to get overwhelmed and it's going to shut down, and you're going to want to keep working, but it's not being that responsive because you didn't create that time. So when you create the time, when you create the time to rest, it saves you a lot of things. Like when you plan for it, it's like you set aside a day or some hours to rest, so you're not losing anything during that time. But if you've planned your day, and then at some time when you needed to do something, your body shuts down, then something is getting messed up. So create the time. I'm saying this to you, but I'm saying it to myself as well. I need to do this, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that comes with my upcoming semester. I want to really, really be intentional on that. How do you teach someone to love themselves when they actively hate who they are, both physically and mentally? Now this is hard, and this is why we need to invest time in ourselves. Guys, I'm telling you this, and it's the reality. It's so painful to hear, but nobody's coming to save you. No one. The places, the areas, the dark places that you're gonna go to, and no one is gonna accompany you there. No matter how much people love you, there are places where you have to work, to just walk alone and figure things out. That is why you need to be your very own support. Even when you're surrounded by people that love you, there's things they can't do for you. They have limits. They have limits as people. They have their own lives. They have their own struggles. The places they can't go, they just can't go for you. So you have to go there. You have to do the work yourself. So answering this question, I would say, number one, prayer. Pray for that person, because God sees where you cannot see. God sees their pain that sometimes they can't explain to you. God understands how to, God just understands that person more than you can, even though maybe they're so close to you. The other thing I would say is just listen to them when they want to talk, when some things are going on in their lives. Just talk. Just listen to them. If they need you to give feedback, try to give it to them. Encouraging your friend to go to therapy is also something that can be very helpful. As friends or as family, we can listen, but sometimes people need more than listening. They need professional help, right? So encouraging that person to be like, I am here, I'm willing to listen to you, but I need you to talk to someone who is more professional and that can help you create a path to actually heal from whatever is happening, right? That's one of the things as well. And then just be there for them when they need you. Sometimes that external help, if you can do that, please do that as much as you can, and do it genuinely. So because when you're not genuine as well, people always tell. The other question is limiting kindness and being taken advantage of. Oh, okay. Number one, you don't have to limit your kindness. Please do not let the world change who you are. If you're a kind person, do not let your experiences change that, because when they change you, you're literally becoming the world. What you can do is to create boundaries, right? Know when to say yes and when to say no. This is why. So one of the things, if you're gonna help someone or if you're gonna do something for someone, for me, one thing I've learned is to do whatever I'm doing without an expectation of anything in return, right? If I do not have the expectation and it's totally out of my will to say I'm gonna help this person, or they ask me to do something for them and I'll just do it because I genuinely want to do it, they don't have the power to take advantage of me, because this is my decision. I have said I'm gonna do it, and I don't care if there's anything after that, or I really don't have any expectation of them. So when I do that and I'm able to do that, then I take away the power, because it is my decision. Like, learning to create those boundaries actually limits that whole thing of being taken advantage of, because what you say yes to, you've really decided to do it yourself with no expectations. People knowing that you have limits, you have boundaries that they have to respect, that is also very important. How can you know if a girl is not using you to my experience? I've been used, so I want to settle. Okay, I don't know how to say this, but okay, I'm gonna explain this in two ways. Number one, I feel like people always use others, especially in romantic relationships, or are not serious about them, or just take advantage of them in the time of desperation. Like, when you're desperately wanting to be in a relationship, it's easy to fall into any trap. It's easy to fall into anyone's trap, because they can sense that you're desperate, right? It's easy for them to pretend to be something they're not. And if that is one of the causes, please work towards you knowing that there's so much about life, a lot about life. There's so much that you've been created for. There's a lot that you can work on in your life, and being in a relationship should not be something that defines you. You shouldn't be too desperate for it. I know society has put being in a relationship a certain age. People are asking you, why is this person? Don't you have someone? And you're seeing someone, you need to be seeing someone. Like, there's a lot of pressure out there, but your motivation to be in a relationship should be because you have found the right person. Not, I want to be in a relationship, and then it's your motivation to find someone. Like, it should be the other way around. Meaning, if you have not found the person, please focus on your life. There's so much about you to discover. There's a lot that you can do. There's a lot that you can work on, more than just being in a relationship. I am not disregarding relationships. They are important, but sometimes we make them lose meaning. The other thing is have boundaries. Healthy relationships have boundaries. There should be boundaries. So if someone cannot respect your boundaries, talk through it. And if they're not, then that's a sign that maybe they're not the right person. Other thing is, surround yourself with the right people. Create a circle that supports your values and your morals and all these things that you want. Surround yourself with people that you very well know match your values, and people that support you in that way. I feel like that's one of the things. And then the other thing is that set your standards. I know society has threatened people who have standards and feel like, oh, at some point you're going to run out of time and you're not going to find the right person because you set all these standards and they're so high and no one meets them. Have your standards and have your non-negotiables. Know that I cannot, for example, set a standards that I cannot date someone who is not honest. Like, set that. And I don't care if the whole world is not honest. If you can't find the person, it's okay. It's okay. Life is not about just relationships and marriage, guys. It's really not. If you want someone who is serious, do not lower your standards because of what you have at your exposure. Have faith, set your standards, and God will do it for you. Bring the right person into your life, and it requires patience and focusing on your life. Sometimes you find the right people when we're not even looking, because we're busy working on ourselves, and in the process you kind of attract the right people into your life. I hope I was able to answer these questions well. I don't know if I over talked, but thank you so much. If you have anything to add on any of these questions that I answered to, please go ahead and share in the comment section. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all your feedback and all your support. We are still in the self-love series. I will see you next time. Bye. Take care.